in his own way, but the point that I am making is that on Monday the House will need to choose. If the government cannot do it, then the House must do it, and we must remember that in spite of some of the things that are said, including from the government bench, the government is accountable to Parliament and not the other way round. And on Monday, as I say, no two colleagues agree entirely in what they say in this House, but there will be a result, in my view. I'm so sorry, I haven't got the time to give way. There will be a result on Monday, in my view, and the government must honour that. And I hope very much that the Prime Minister will agree that members of the Cabinet, all ministers, are able to vote in this on Monday. Otherwise, members of Parliament, senior members of Parliament, will be disenfranchised from this process. There should not be a whip. If we come to this on Monday, it is a House of Commons occasion. The House of Commons must seek to sort it out. Now, Mr. Speaker, the final point I want to make is this. I think, for me, I find myself in a minority in the House of Commons. I think the House of Commons overstates the dangers of no deal. I don't believe there is such a thing as no deal. I think were we to leave with what is called no deal, there will be a whole series of smaller deals, some of them temporary, some of them more permanent, and some stops. So myself, I do not worry as much as many of my colleagues do about the dangers of no deal. But equally, I think the House massively underestimates the dangers of advancing towards a second referendum. The anger, irritation and annoyance of our constituents will be palpable, and in my judgment it is very likely, Mr. Speaker, to solve nothing at all. Because imagine the nightmare that the country reversed the earlier vote and voted 48-52 to remain. What would that mean for our democracy? What would that mean for the votes of the people in both those referenda? So I think that to advance, for this House to advance down the route of another referendum would, in my view, be a very serious mistake at all. But it is, however, if the House of Commons the government cannot do a deal that the House of Commons will accept, if the House of Commons cannot come to an agreement in the way that I have described, then it is the ineluctable logic of that position that it will have to be referred again to the British people, and in my view that would be an absolute disaster, Mr. Speaker. So I end on this point, Mr. Speaker. This is an important negotiation, and I think that we have been outmanoeuvred as a country by the European Commission and by the 27 standing absolutely firm, as they said they would, and which many of us did not believe. But this is an important negotiation. They have interests and we have interests. And in my judgment, unless the European Union and the Commission are able to show a little bit more of a sense of compromise to what the government has been saying, then it will leave a profound legacy of bitterness across the channel between the European Union and this country. They are our friends and our partners. We are going to trade with them, do business with them and work with them over the coming years and the coming generations. We have huge security interests as well, which bind us together. And I hope obviously that the government is successful today, but if it is not successful and we move into these further processes and the unknown, the Commission will bear in mind their interests as well in trying to reach a deal that is a good deal for both parties and is not imposed on one of those parties.
Mr. Ian Murray.